It was a cold evening, and the city was moving fast. Cars rushed past the street, headlights cutting through the darkness. People were busy getting home, thinking about dinner, comfort, and rest. In the middle of all that movement, one woman stood still. She was holding a small baby in her arms. Her name was Sarah. She wasn't standing there to beg. She wasn't shouting or asking for attention. She was simply standing, holding her child close, hoping that someone would notice before it became too late. Just 1 year earlier, Sarah's life looked completely different. She had a small apartment, nothing fancy, but it was home. She had a husband who worked long hours and came back tired but smiling. They talked about the future, about saving money, about giving their child a better life. She never imagined how fragile that life really was. One night, her husband didn't come home. There was an accident on the highway. A phone call that changed everything. A voice on the other end of the line that spoke carefully, slowly, as if choosing words could soften the truth. But nothing could. Suddenly, Sarah was alone. Grief came first, then fear. Then the quiet realization that love alone doesn't pay rent, doesn't buy food, and doesn't keep the lights on. She tried to be strong. She tried to manage. She sold what she could, borrowed what she could, and asked for help where she thought it might exist. But help doesn't always come when you need it most. Bills piled up, savings disappeared. Friends slowly stopped calling, not because they were cruel, but because they didn't know what to say. Eventually, Sarah found herself with nowhere to go. That evening, she wrapped her baby in the only blanket she had left and walked to the side of the road. Not because she wanted to be there, but because she didn't know where else to go. The baby was quiet at first. Then the crying started. Not loud, not dramatic, just soft, tired cries. The kind that come from hunger and exhaustion. Sarah rocked her child gently, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep. I'm here, she said softly. I won't leave you. Cars passed by. Some drivers slowed down for a second. Some looked straight ahead. Most didn't look at all. A few people noticed that night stayed with Sarah. Their faces showed sympathy, not because of sympathy fear, doesn't stop, but because of what she learned. Sympathy doesn't change. She learned that life can fall apart without warning. Then strength doesn't always look strong. Her arms began to ache, and that asking for help is not weakness. The cold air. She also learned something else. That even in a busy world where everyone seems in a hurry, she checked her phone. Kindness still exists. No messages. Sometimes it comes quietly. Her phone was full of names and conversations. But when it comes, it was silent. It changes everything. Completely. The man who stopped that night never asked silence for thanks. Hurt more than he never asked for recognition. Sarah didn't want much. He simply did what he felt was right. She wasn't asking for money or comfort or long-term Sarah tells her child this story. She just needed help. Not to remember the pain, just one. As the evening grew darker, she felt hope slipping away. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, the way light disappears at sunset. Then something different happened. One car slowed down. At first, Sarah didn't react. She had seen that before. Cars slowed down and then kept going. But this time the brake lights stayed on. The car stopped. A man stepped out. He didn't rush. He didn't stare. He walked calmly toward her, keeping his distance, making sure not to scare her. He looked at Sarah, then at the baby, and then he asked a simple question. Are you okay? Those words broke something inside her. Sarah tried to answer, but her voice wouldn't come out. Her lips moved, but no sound followed. Tears filled her eyes, not because she wanted them to, but because she couldn't stop them. The man didn't interrupt. He didn't look uncomfortable. He just waited. When she finally spoke, her voice was quiet and uneven. She didn't tell him everything. She didn't need to. The baby told the rest of the story. The man nodded slowly. Please, he said, let me help. He didn't say it like a favor. He said it like a choice, like something he wanted to do. They drove to a small diner not far from the road. Warm lights filled the windows. The smell of food felt almost unreal to Sarah, like something from another life. Inside, the man ordered something warm to eat and milk for the baby. Sarah's hands shook as she held the cup. She hadn't realized how hungry she was until that moment. The baby drank slowly, then rested quietly against her chest. For the first time that day, there was peace. They didn't talk much while eating. They didn't need to. Afterward, the man asked a few gentle questions. Where she was from. What had happened. What she needed most right now. Not to judge, just to understand. That night, he helped her find a safe place to stay. Nothing permanent, but clean, warm, and quiet. The next day, he helped her take the first steps forward. A small job. Not perfect, not easy, but honest work. A chance to earn again. A chance to stand on her own feet. Weeks passed. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. There were still hard days, still moments of fear and doubt. But there was also progress. The baby grew stronger, smiled more, laughed. Sarah worked, saved what she could, and slowly rebuilt something she thought she had lost forever. She often thought about that night, about the road, the cold, the silence, and the car that stopped. Not because the man was rich, not because he had to, but because he chose to. Today, Sarah knows something she didn't know before. That kindness doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes kindness is simply stopping when everyone else keeps going. Sometimes it's asking a question. Sometimes it's choosing to see another human being. If this story reminds you of something, remember this. You don't need to change the whole world to change one life. Sometimes one moment is enough. And if stories like this matter to you, subscribe for more real human stories. Because kindness still matters. That night stayed with Sarah for a long time. Not because of fear, but because of what she learned. She learned that life can fall apart without warning. That strength doesn't always look strong. And that asking for help is not weakness. She also learned something else, that even in a busy world where everyone seems in a hurry, kindness still exists. Sometimes it comes quietly, sometimes it comes late. But when it comes, it changes everything. The man who stopped that night never asked for thanks. He never asked for recognition. He simply did what he felt was right. And years later, Sarah tells her child this story. Not to remember the pain, but to remember the kindness. Because one day, that child might be the one who stops. And if stories like this matter to you, stay connected to this channel. We share real human stories, real moments, and real reminders that kindness still matters.